Yo, good day, gents, and welcome to another episode of Father's Fire. My name is Chad Sedrick, and every week, as you know, we get together to explore the joys, the challenges, the triumphs, the sorrows, and yes, the fun of being a dad. And I tell you, man, the last 2 weeks have been all of that in one. Um, if you've seen on my Facebook, Judy and I had the opportunity to go to Paris for the 2024 Paris Olympics, and it was an over the top amazing experience. And I had the blessing and opportunity to go with my brother, who is my guest today. Chad, welcome to the show. Dude,
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
dude, what an amazing experience that we got to share, and it's got to be even, more epic for you being the dad. And just, dude, it was incredible.
It was phenomenal. It was an amazing, amazing experience, and everybody that was a part of it. She had so much support, and it was just literally a once in a lifetime experience that can't even put into words how absolutely amazing it was.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that you guys had kind of a sneak peek that it was coming, right? So, and we didn't know till about 6 weeks before. And Judy and I had planned to go to Greece for our anniversary. So we're like, hey, could we move our trip up, go uh, see Spiff, and go to the Olympics, and then piggyback our trip to Greece on it? And I'm telling you, everything aligned up perfect. And Devin and Kaylani were able to come, and your kids were able to come, which was super fun. And of course, her husband Keegan, who's just absolutely amazing, got
Yeah,
to
he's
come. It
awesome.
was it was super special. It's interesting because absolutely love. I captured two photos for the day. So if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, you'll be able to see these. But I absolutely love this picture, which is
Mhm.
absolutely iconic.
Yeah, that was
Um,
awesome. That was awesome.
I mean, she's running. For those of you guys listening, she's running with the rugby ball in her right hand, and she's pointing up into the stands, and just with a huge smile because she's about to score her first try in the Olympics. And what's cool about this photo is that she's actually pointing to her husband, Keegan, because it was his birthday.
Yep, yep.
I mean, how cool is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, she scored two tries for his birthday. It was absolutely could have been more perfect. I mean, it was the first day of the Olympic Games. The first game against Japan, she scores a try. The second game against Brazil, she scores a try. So she scored both games, and both times the person she went to was her husband in the stands. I scored this try for you, baby. It's happy birthday. It was awesome. So awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I also love this picture that was captured because she actually escaped
Hmm.
and ran over to dad and gave dad a hug.
Yeah, that was a very very tender special moment because that was after the second game with Brazil, and she was over with her team, doing whatever it is they do at the end of the game. And me and Julie and Bailey, Julie's my wife, Bailey is my stepdaughter. For those of you who don't know, but we had gone down to the edge of the podium, and we had a banner that we had made for her, and had it draped over the side. And so she saw us, and when she got a moment, she broke over and ran straight over, gave me the biggest hug. And Julie filmed it, which was cool. We actually had a guy from France in the audience who was taking pictures of it and connected with Julie to give her copies of the photo, because it was an amazing moment. I mean, to me, that day of her playing and scoring those tries, acknowledging her husband, that was pretty special. But for me, the best part of the day was that moment where she ran over to dad, and I was able to hug her, and she hugged me. It was just man, that was the highlight of the day for me, even better than the scores and the contributions she made on the field. To be there with my daughter, who's worked all these years, put in all this effort and hard work, blood, sweat, and tears to get to this point to play in the Olympics, and then to have a moment where she got to give Dad a hug. Uh, it was amazing. Just definitely a highlight of the games. So
Yeah, there's not many times. Sorry, I get choked up
mm,
thinking about her running up to you, her pointing at
mm,
Keegan. We'll get to the final day. It just every time I watch the videos, every time I watch the videos of us cheering her on, and my kids and my wife, and it just was such an epic moment. And I think a lot of times dads don't get a moment like you had with Spiff, where
mm,
Spiff comes over, gives you a big hug, and you're able to share a moment with her that nobody else understands, right?
yeah.
Nobody else in the stand really understands what that feels like. So, can you express? I mean, I think about all of the years of you raising her as a daughter, all of the years going to gymnastics and then going to rugby and going to all the games. I mean, how do you even sum up those feelings?
Yeah, I don't know that you can. It's just such an amazing event. Like I said, that hug from that day meant more to me than watching her on the world stage, making those tries, making those points for the team. It just that was the highlight of those 2 days or of that day for me. It was really special that I got that moment with her because I wasn't sure that she was going to be able to come over. We were down in the front and we had the sign. We're waving at her and she's looking at our way and waving back and then when she broke away and she came over and I was able to get that hug. Oh my gosh, just dude, lump in the throat. Julie's crying as she's filming, and it was just really a touching, tender moment, and as evidenced by the fact that other people in the audience were taking pictures and filming. They recognize. I think other people were able to recognize, wow, what a special moment that is for a father to be there to watch his daughter achieve her dream of playing in the Olympics and being able to share that one little tender moment of a hug with my daughter. It was just a moment, and like I said, it brings tears to my eyes thinking about what a special that moment because Alex and I have a really close bond. We've always had a very tight relationship. Her living her dreams, and for us to be a part of that, it's just indescribable. Just an absolute
Yeah.
rewarding moment of parenthood. It was awesome.
So let's talk about that, about being close, because you and Spiff, I mean, I have fond memories of going over to your house and her just coming in and plopping on your lap, even as a
Yeah.
teenager, and just giving you a hug. How was that closeness created? Because I think a lot of dads struggle with, how do I really connect with my kids on a personal level that really connects with the kid?
And it's hard to say. Like I said, Alex and I have always had a special relationship. And the boys, for those of you who don't know, I also have two sons. And the boys have always accused me of favoring Alex. And there may be that, and a different relationship that a father has with a daughter. There's and Alex, close relationship. When I would come home from a trip and I'd walk in the door, she was always the first one to run up. Dad's home and give me a hug. And the boys they'd be playing their video. Hey, Dad. But it was Alex that would run in, or if we sat down to watch a movie for family night, I want to sit by, and she was always the one that would want to sit on my lap or sit next to me. It's just like I said, there's just that tenderness and that special relationship that we've always had. Now, please understand, by no means am I my relationship with my sons. I love my sons every bit as much, and they are every bit as important to me as my daughter is. But it's just the relationship there is different. Like I said, the boys have accused me of playing favorites, and I get it. But you know what? She kind of favorited me by being the first one to run home and give me the hug when I got home and wanting to sit by dad during the movie. So hey, you boys didn't do that. So, but like I said, I have three wonderful children and actually six. I've got three stepchildren that are absolutely amazing as well. But my three children that I grew up with, they're just everything to me. I mean they are my reason for life. I absolutely love my children and like I said, it's just a special relationship with a daughter and a father that's just different. It's not better. It's not you know better than my relationship with my sons. It's just different. There's a different relationship there, and it's something that's very special, and it's a special bond that Alex and I have always had, ever since she was a little one.
Yeah, and I have to give a mad shout out to Jordan, your son. I mean, he did an absolutely amazing job of trying to organize all the families and schedule
Mm.
events while we were in Paris and make sure people had time for each other. And I
Yeah,
mean,
that was a
that guy
he had a he had a
is,
Herculean task, and it caused him a lot of stress, and I'm afraid to say I know I added to that stress, because I wanted to spend. For those of you who don't know, my wife and I are divorced, and so we were trying to balance time with you know my three kids spending time with me and my new family, and them spending time with my ex-wife. And poor Jordan kind of got caught in the middle of that, and I feel horrible because I know it stressed him out. He was very stressed with trying to allocate time, between everybody and make sure everybody was able to give equal time to each parent, and it really put him in a little bit of a tough spot. But yeah, he was a champ though, man. He really did a lot to make our trip as awesome and as memorable it was. I mean, I don't know that we could have done it without him. He was fantastic, just an absolute champ.
so let's talk about that a little bit because I think that's, we're in the middle of this highlight, right? And it's just an incredible experience. And I think especially in divorced families, you have this crazy dynamic of trying to make sure that you're given the attention here, and you're
Mm.
trying to do this crazy tightrope walk, so that you're getting the time that you want and you deserve, but also the other side does. And dude, how do you manage it? Because it's not just this event, right? It's been over years as you've tried to work through that.
It's a challenge. Uh, I don't know how much I want to get into on this platform,
No.
but divorce is a difficult thing. I don't recommend it to anybody. It's a lot of people look at divorce as a solution to a problem, but in reality, what it is, it creates a whole new set of problems and a whole new set of dynamics that you have to deal with. And
Yeah.
so you've got these original problems in a marriage, and yeah, there's some problems, but divorce isn't a solve all to end all because, like I said,
Yeah.
I whole different problems. And that was, during the week we were in Paris, that was kind of a sticking point, because you know it was hard for. So my ex-wife is not. She's still single, and since my divorce, I've since remarried, and I have an absolutely wonderful wife and wonderful stepchildren, and I have this new family that's just amazing. And they've blended and meshed extremely well with my children, and it's we've been very blessed in that way. But on the flip side of that, I know it's hard for Melissa to see that I'm happy again with my new family. And so that
Yeah.
was part of the things that poor Jordan had to juggle because he
Yeah.
knew it was uncomfortable for his mom to see me with my new family. And he tried to do his best to kind of limit that. So, because he didn't want her to be uncomfortable. But,
Yeah.
that in turn made it uncomfortable for him because he's worried about trying to keep his mom happy, trying to keep me and Julie happy with time with us. And it was poor Jordan. I just feel like it put him in a very difficult spot. And it
Yeah.
was one of the things we had a challenge with, and as divorced parents is I think it's important to be able to put your differences aside as ex spouses, put those differences aside for the benefit of the children,
Yeah.
and to be able to, okay, we can get along, and we don't have to like each other, but there's no reason why we can't put our differences aside in order to make things pleasant for the children. And
Yeah.
that was definitely a balancing act that um, we succeeded on some days, and other days not so well. But
Yeah.
it's just
Well, it's a growing thing, right?
yeah,
It's a growing, it's a healing, it's becoming, it's and I appreciate you being open and candid with that. And I don't I only went there because I think a lot of families, there are a lot of families that are messy, right? And I think we often talk about the ideal of families and we try to skirt the ugly part, and but it's a reality that we're all trying to figure out. I mean, we've had some ugly parts in our family, as we've worked through some pretty heavy things, and I've talked about them on the podcast. But it's like, I overall, I look at that week, and I look at the unity, the celebration, the joy that we got to share as families in that moment. I mean,
yeah.
dude, I mean, you talk about a one in a lifetime chance, maybe two if they make it to 2028.
Right, right.
Um, but I mean, we could get a second shot, but if we don't, we got to share in something absolutely amazing. And they say they came so close to playing for the gold medal, and
Yes, they did.
Canada, Canada came. They were playing on a different level,
Yeah, I've
and
never
we
seen
played.
Canada play as good as they did during the Olympics. That was an entirely different team that we've seen and that we played against over the past year in the Rugby World Series, the World Seven Series. It was absolutely amazing. But back to what you mentioned about all of us being there, like, so Alex had, me and my family, her brothers, her husband, her mom, her aunt was there with her mom. Then she also, so those of you who don't know, my children are adopted, and so my daughter and my oldest son Jordan, they have the same birth father and same birth mother, so they're actually biological siblings, which is really cool. But their birth father was there with his wife, in addition to three of their other aunts and uncles. So she had a huge cheering team, which was awesome. I mean, she had the support from us, her adoptive family, from you guys, her the extended aunts and uncles, from Dino and his family, the birth family. So it was just an amazing cheering section that she had to support her there. It was really awesome to be able to spend
Yeah,
time with everybody and see everybody so excited to support her and cheer her on, and it was just an amazing family moment to have all these family members, extended and close, and it was just awesome, just
it was crazy. It was, we're like in the semifinal round, and we're like, all right, if we beat Canada, we can go for the gold. And Canada, dude, they fought, and we ended up losing 14-12. And
Well, that
then
was we
the
lost to New
girls.
Zealand. Do you mean
Oh, New
which
Zealand.
game are you
Sorry.
talking about? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We lost to New Zealand. That's in. And so then we ended up playing for the bronze medal against Australia. And dude, that Australia game, it was brutal. I mean, it was it was hard hitting, it was fast paced, and
yeah, it
we
was
come
tough.
down to the last 9, 8 seconds, and it's interesting because you could just feel like something was gonna happen, and I turned on my camera. I'm like, dude, something's about to happen, and they passed her that ball, and boy, the girl that passed her the ball, it was a beautiful pass, and
Yeah, that was
she breaks
Ariana
through
Ramsey
two.
that gave her the pass. That was a
Yeah,
perfect pass to her.
perfect pass. She breaks two tackles and then a third, and man, she is off.
Yeah, she broke free and she went after it. It's interesting because let's back up a little bit back to the semifinals. So the semifinals were Australia and Canada, and us against New
Yes,
Zealand. And we thought we were going to be playing Canada, but
yes,
because New Zealand, oh my gosh, that team is just phenomenal. They are a tough team to beat. And throughout the year, during the World Sevens series, it's not uncommon for them to get the gold. And then Australia, it's not uncommon for them to do well. And throughout the year, we've gotten silver a couple times, and usually it's to New Zealand. Typically, it's been New Zealand with the gold, and either Australia or us with the silver. So it was a matchup, and we knew we were going to have a battle against New Zealand in that semifinal, and we knew Canada was going to have a battle against Australia, and Canada got the upset. They beat Australia, and when we heard that, we were just like, "Oh no, we're going to have to play Australia for the bronze." We knew that was going to be a beast of a game because Australia, they are an amazing team as well. And
yeah,
during this last year with the World Series, we haven't beat them a single time. And then fast forward to the event you were talking about in the match against Australia, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And we came down to 8 seconds left in the game. It was 12-7. Australia was ahead by one try. So, as you mentioned, Ariana got that pass to Alex. She broke through three players to run the full length of the field. It was the equivalent of a 97-yard run in a football game. She made it all
yeah,
the way down. And then I can still remember that moment where because it was getting to the end of the game. We had 8 seconds left and we were down by a try and we were down against Australia. We're just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a miracle. And we got our miracle with Alex. She got that ball and she broke through and she ran it and she scored that try. And I can still remember being in the stand just screaming and yelling and cheering her on. Everybody is just ecstatic, like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? It was like a fairy tale ending. It was like something you see out of a movie.
yeah,
One of these feel good movies where the underdogs get it in the last seconds, and in this case, we were the underdogs. And in the last 8 seconds, Alex scored that try to tie the game. So now we're at 12-12. And in rugby, you have 30 seconds to get the conversion kick for two more points. And so all the players were at the other end of the field. And our normal kickers that we didn't have time to get the kickers down to make the conversion kick. So Alex had to make the conversion kick. And it's interesting because just the day prior, the coach was having her practice her kicks for an event just like this. So, what if something happens? We can't get the designated kickers down on the field. You're going to have to make the kick. Well, guess what? That was literally the exact situation we found ourselves in. She had to make the kick. And when she was practicing those kicks with the coach the day prior, she missed them all. But in that moment, she did it when it counted, and that won the game. That won the bronze medal for the United States. Oh my gosh, we were just, you guys were there. You crowd was just roaring. We were cheering and we were high fiving and we were crying and we were just, oh my gosh, our daughter, our wife, our niece, our everything that Alex is to all these people. She she scored and won the bronze medal for the U.S. Now, of course, I shouldn't say she won it. The whole team. It was a team effort. But in the final moments, it was her that made it happen. It was just such an amazing moment. One I'll never ever forget. I remember just everybody there cheering and hugging each other and crying and high fiving. It was just an amazing event to see her play that pivotal role in the U.S. team getting the bronze medal. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Just,
it was just over the top, just
yeah.
insane. I mean, just man, I can't even put words to it. I mean, we exploded. The stands exploded. I mean, we were crying, we were laughing. Devin's walking up and down the aisle, high fiving
Yeah.
everybody, and we after just this unbelievable experience, we walk over, and I love this photo that we captured of you and I together,
Yeah.
and it's just like it just was epic to be able to
Yeah.
share that.
Look, you can see Kay Lonnie crying in the background there. It's-
Yeah, yeah, dude, we were. It just was.
oh,
It
it
was.
was amazing.
It was. Yeah, it was just over the top, and it's like. It's not very many times in life do you get to share those kind of events as a family. Sometimes they're in smaller circles. I thought it's interesting because I was talking to Kaylani. I said, it was when you went to the NCAA tournaments playing volleyball, that was so cool, and we had such a great experience. And I go, but this is like a world stage.
Right.
And she
Right.
goes, I know, Dad. And Kaylani and Spiff, they're buds, and Kaylani has just had so much mad love and respect for Spiff. She's so proud that everybody says, "Oh, you look just like each other," and they're kind of cut out of the same cloth.
They
So
are. They're
it's
two
fun.
very feisty, very spunky, just amazing young ladies, and they've been best buddies ever since little kids. And
Yeah,
yeah, I remember all those years ago when we get together for family events, and those two were just best buddies. And they're like you said, they're cut from the same cloth. They're feisty, they're they're lovable. They both got a special relationship with their dads. They're both athletic. They both have amazing talent in their individual sports, and just
yeah, it's fun.
good, good, beautiful young ladies. That I think one of the things that I've been really impressed with Alex is her humility on this. I mean, here she is, literally an overnight sensation. I mean, the world knows who Spiff Sedrick is now. And she's on news media, she's on talk shows, and it was interesting to see afterwards all these people that were vying for her attention, and she was so gracious to give people attention and let them take photos with her. And complete random strangers, who wanted to take pictures with an Olympic medalist, and she's been so gracious with her time, and so very humble about it. It's been really neat to see that, she's what you see is what you get with Alex. She's a
Yeah,
real genuine person. There's no pretense there. There's no arrogance. There's no cockiness. It's and that's Alex. That's always been Alex. Throughout the year, I've mentioned before these World Seven Series tournaments. And for those of you who aren't familiar, the USA Rugby team, they participate in what's called the World Rugby 7 Series. And it's a series of stops throughout the world. They go to Dubai, they go to Cape Town, they go to Sydney, they go to LA, they go just all these different stops around the world, and they play in these tournaments. And the U.S. team is made up of more than just the 14 girls so there were 12 girls in the team with two alternates. So 14 women who went to the Olympics on the Olympic team. But the USA women's rugby team is actually bigger than that. I think there's 20 plus girls on the team. This team, they play in these tournaments throughout the world, and it's because whenever there was a, I always ask Alice, hey, when and she was, oh, we'll know by such and such date. She's, I don't know if I'm going to make this one though, on this practice or whatever. And I'm like, you're going to make it. and inevitably she would, but it really spoke volumes to her character that she would never just assume that she was going to make the team or make the selection. She's always very humble. It's like, maybe I didn't work as hard as I should have. I might not get picked for this one, but inevitably she would. And that happened with the Olympic team selection. I'm trying to remember when it was. I believe it was June time frame, and I've never had a doubt she was going to get selected for the Olympic team. Not a doubt in my mind. But her, she's all, yeah, we'll wait and see. I hope I get picked. I don't know if I will, but meanwhile, of course, I'm like, yeah, you'll get it. But she's always been very humble about her abilities and her contributions. And sometimes I don't think she recognizes her own greatness. and,
Yeah.
and I don't, I'm not trying to be a braggart of a father, but I say that in all seriousness, she truly is a phenomenal player. And I think she's a very underrated player. And a lot of that is her. She's willing to get out on the field and do the work, but she doesn't put herself out there with cockiness and arrogance. She's a very, very humble player. And as a father, I love that. I think that really speaks volumes to her and her character.
Yeah. You know, Listening to you talk about that, it reminds me of the interview after the winning of the bronze medal. We were all gathered outside, and Keegan's uh, being interviewed by the Salt Lake media, and I love what he said. He goes, I often tell her that giants, when they look in the mirror, don't see giants, and maybe you'll see that in you today, and the world will see who you are, and that you really are, you deserve to be here, and you are a giant among giants. And I love that. I love Keegan too. I actually pulled him aside, and I told him, I said, you are absolutely the perfect husband for Spiff, and I just want to tell you that I admire you. I look up to you, and I appreciate that you do for her, because I think a lot of times, we see, and she, like you said, she is so humble, but she has such a good partner in her marriage. I mean, they are so cute together. They love each other. They're playful. They
Mm,
push each other. They drive each other, and I love that. And that's got to be really cool for you as a dad to know that your daughter has such a good man for a husband.
absolutely. You know what? I remember you and I had a podcast interview right after they got married. And us talking about Alex and Keegan get married, what that was like as a father to see your daughter. And I tell you, I love Keegan as much as I love my own sons. He is such a good man. And as a father, all you can ask in a son in law is for somebody who loves and adores your daughter and treats her like the queen she is. And Keegan does that. He treats Alex like the queen she is, and he has always been supportive of his dream. He Keegan was a heck of a rugby player himself, and
Yeah.
he was on a scholarship to Kutztown in Pennsylvania, and he kind of stepped back a little bit in order to help support Alex and pursue her dreams. And that to me speaks volumes to Keegan and his character and his love for my daughter, that he's willing to take a secondary role to her and help her, support her, you know, because when she's doing these tournaments throughout the world for the seven series, she's gone for a week, 2 weeks at a time. And he's at home holding down the fort. They have their dog. He's got his work. And but he's always very supportive of her, despite the sacrifice. That because that's a sacrifice on their marriage. For somebody to
Yeah.
to be doing these tournaments every, you know 6 weeks to 2 months, and being gone for a week or two at a time. That's a hard thing to do. And but he is an absolute champion. I can't even tell you guys how much I love Keegan Barnes and what a great man he is and how grateful I am that he married my daughter. He's a terrific son-in-law. And man, I hope everybody has a husband that's as good to their daughter as he is to mine. He's a
Yeah.
champ.
Oh, dude, man, what an amazing opportunity that we got to share. And it's highlighted so many good things about being a dad, about being your kid's biggest fan,
Hmm.
and being able to see them work hard and achieve a dream and be there to celebrate them winning. And even when they lose, right? Being there for
Hmm.
when they falter and they have self-doubt and they're like, "Oh, am I good enough? Am I going to make it?" And um it's interesting, it's like I think about, and each one of our kids are so unique, right? And I look at Devin and his musical talent and acting. And I look at Zane and Christian and Ashton and Kaylani and Cynthia. They're all unique, but they all have different personalities and gifts, and it creates so many great opportunities for me as a dad. And I know that you have that as a dad, both with your kids that you had, and then your new family and your stepkids. What a blessing to be able to have a family that can share these moments. And dude, I'm so glad that we got to go and share that with you. it's
Yeah, we're
it's
glad you
such a
guys were
big,
there.
yeah,
That was
it
fun to
was,
fun to have other
yeah, it
family
was fun.
to help share in the moment because it was an amazing moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
bar
it
none,
was.
absolute amazing moment.
Well, and we can, I appreciate you coming on and being open. I don't think we as dads too often get an opportunity to
Mhm.
really celebrate
Mhm.
being a dad and celebrate our kids' accomplishments. And I'm like, I got to get my brother on and talk about his feelings and his experience. And I think, there's a lot of good lessons in the conversations that we've had. And I hope that something that we've shared touches, the hearts of men listening and even the women. But, it's nice. And I'm going to make sure that I share this with both Spiff and Keegan because I think Keegan needs to hear, and I know he does, but it's good to hear that your father-in-law loves you and has mad
Yeah,
respect for you,
yeah,
because his uncle-in-law definitely does too. So
yeah. Well, that's never been a thing that I've never had a problem sharing with Keegan how I feel about him and how much I
yeah,
appreciate him and how well he treats my daughter. And yeah, he like I said, I'm repeating myself now, but he's just a terrific young man, and
yeah,
I could have asked for a better son-in-law for my daughter. He's awesome.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving me some of your time tonight.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That was
it's
an
such a
amazing experience. We're so glad you and Judy and the kids could be there. that we could share that moment together, because that
Yeah.
was a phenomenal moment for sure, and
Yeah.
it's
I
amazing.
need to get. I need to get one of those USA rugby shirts. I got the Team USA Olympic shirt, and
Yeah, yeah, these are
you know,
awesome. These are awesome.
that's
Yeah,
super cool. So, well, thank you so much, you guys that are listening. Thank you so much for tapping in every week. Um, Dude, I go out to my Facebook page. I've posted a lot of the videos of our real time, real reaction, and
yeah.
it's over the top. I watch them and I still tear up. It's fun.
Oh, I know.
Um,
I never
yeah,
get tired. You know that clip, the clip that made the news, that put her on the face of world TV, with Ariana passing that ball, her blowing through three tacklers, going all the way down the field. That huge smile. Go back and look at that smile she made. She just grinning ear to ear. She sets it down, makes the try, and then makes the kick, and her teammates all come. It's just, well, I never get sick of watching it.
yeah,
It's
it's over the
absolutely
top for me.
phenomenal. Absolutely a
Yeah,
phenomenal moment. So
yeah, it's cool. So, well, thank you, brother. It's
yeah,
nice
of course.
to it is a blessing. I will say this, not only to you but also to the listeners. It is a blessing to have a family that is so tight and close. I
Yeah, very
love
much.
you more than I can ever express.
Back
You know,
back at you.
every one of us siblings, you and I are one of eight, two of eight,
Mm,
and every one of us still get along. We laugh, we play, we give each other a hard
yeah,
time, we connect. We don't see each
yeah,
other, some of us as much as we'd like to, but it really is it really is a blessing to have a good relationship, and that's a tribute to our dad and our mom. You know,
absolutely it is.
they set a legacy, and it's nice. So, for those of you listening, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't picked up my book, go out to Amazon. If you're looking for, if you're struggling with faith and you're trying to figure out how you're getting through some of life's challenges, I invite you to go get it. It's But How Far Must I Go? A Journey in Faith, out on Amazon. Thank you for those of you who have bought it and sent me personal messages. They really do touch the heart, and I want to thank you for sending those
And
to me because
I'll
it.
vouch for that book too. That was a good one. Well done on that.
Oh,
That was very,
thanks, brother.
really
So
thoroughly enjoyed it.
yeah, well, thank you. Well, thank you so much, you guys. You guys have a fantastic week, and we will check you same time, same bat channel just next week. See ya.
But